All right, Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. 5x5. How's everyone doing?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We'll go ahead and get started. What we'll do is have you just kick us off with the opening statement.
Well, I think this is the first time we've been back to championship weekend since 2002, long ago, I guess we want to say, with it, but I think it's been 10 years. So we're, Mercyhurst University and the men's lacrosse program are thrilled to be participants again in championship weekend. Never really been too much of a fan of watching myself, but the kids have done a wonderful job and persevered and come together, and we're really looking forward to competing for hopefully our second national championship.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. We're going to go ahead and get started with the Q&A portion, and we'll kick us off with Matt Kinnear.
Coach, how are you? Like you said, it's been 10 years, but I don't think it's been for a lack of talent. You've had some really talented teams there. What's that special, extra, or thing that makes a team that can get the championship weekend versus a team that's a semifinal or quarterfinal team?
Yeah, I love how Matt started that one. Like, it's not a lack of a talent; it must be bad coaching at that point. So, no, you know what? I think it's a game of inches. Like, not to use a cliche, but it is. And I remember when we went to one of the times we went to the national championship game. I think when we first went in 2007. 2008 was a little bit of a rougher year, if I can remember that far or for us. And someone said, "Well, what's the difference?" And I said, "Oh, ground ball here, hit the post there." But I think when you're talking about championship teams, I think that extra push that you're talking about is really sort of that culture in the locker room. If you don't have a good locker room right now and a great culture, you're not playing this weekend. And I think the guys have persevered through some things this year and gotten super close, and they play real hard for each other. And I think when you do mix that with some talent, you got a winning combination going on.
I'll keep asking away if that's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
About Sean Doran, and obviously he wins a ton of faceoffs, but 13 goals and something like 25 points. How does that just change the complexion of a game? What he can do from the X and beyond? There
is no one in college lacrosse. I don't care what division you're at that has the skill set of Sean does from the faceoff X. He has a knack. I'll tell you, one of the greatest things about Sean is he has a knack for answering. Throughout the season, there's been a number of times when the opposing team will score a big goal, sort of a momentum goal, and Sean goes out on the very next face-off and puts one in the back of the net. When we started recruiting Sean, my Ryan O'Hagan, my assistant coach, was like, "What are you looking for in a face-off guy?" And the first thing I said was, actually, I want someone that can handle the ball. And when we saw Sean, he sort of checked all the boxes. So we knew he had that skill set. He's worked very hard to develop into a complete lacrosse player. We feel like if we wanted to, we could run him on one of the midfield lines with it. So, I mean, even last weekend, like, goes down and he actually scored a goal against Lemoyne from the outside. Like, I don't know when the last time you saw a face-off guy wind up from the outside and shoot far low corner with accuracy. So he is, he's just, again, a complete lacrosse player, and poses a lot of problems for opposing teams. I know, other coaches have remarked to me how much time they devote in practice leading up to playing us, to just basically countering what Sean brings to the field.
I'll keep it rolling. You have a pair of 50 goal scorers, and obviously you score 50 goals. Your influence in the team is pretty enormous. But you look at last week against Lemoyne, you got a guy who scored maybe 10 goals, puts in 2 in that game and has a big game. Can you just talk about, like, those guys at the top end, but also how deep you feel offensively, and how many guys can step up on any given day throughout?
Yeah, Miles and Ethan, obviously bring that Canadian influence to the field, and we've always had that at Mercyhurst and enjoyed, what it brings to our team. But those are both, older, mature guys. I think they bring a ton of leadership and calmness on the field, good decision making, and obviously, if you can get those guys into the right situations, their skill set is almost unstoppable out there. But I think also what it does is some of the attention that those two garner on the field opens up opportunities for other players. I mean, we're running up to 10 offensive midfielders during a game right now, so that depth. Last week, our C line, had 2 goals. They had 2 goals in the conference championship game against Seton Hill. So we just think we can get production from not only the guys that we count on for that kind of leadership on the field, but also for those depth places on the roster where maybe other teams aren't getting that kind of production. And it is proved, to tell you the truth, it's a huge reason why we're having this interview right now, and why we're getting ready to head out to Philly on Thursday.
All right, we're going to move on to Dan Kaplan.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? First of all, just wanted to check in on how you and your staff are kind of managing the week and keeping everybody's, heads on straight with obviously the biggest game in any of their careers, lives, so on and so forth, looming here at the end of the week.
Yeah, you know what? I think it does pay off that I've been there before a couple of times. I can remember the first time in 2007 when we went. I think that Monday I was trying to handle everything, and I was on the brink of insanity by 4:00. So I think we knew Monday was just going to be a logistics day. Like we knew all the daylight hours were going to be devoted to getting things organized for the weekend. The school's been great, but there's always things that the coaching staff has to take care of. And then starting about 8:00 last night, the submarine submerged in the office, and Ryan and I were staring at film for quite a long time. So I'm running on fumes right now, but that's okay. You got 4 or 5 days left to help the kids be successful in any way possible. We're glad to put that kind of effort into the team. But it does, having that experience is valuable, just to how we want to run the weekend, the things that we want to do. And obviously helping the kids stay focused in the face of any number of very good distractions that are out there. They've earned the right to be a part of this program and everything that comes along with it. But there are a lot of things that can draw your attention away from the main focus, that being the game on Sunday. So guys are doing a pretty good job right now preparing, and the coaching staff, this week is going to be brought to you by high-powered Tim Hortons coffee and probably some Monster or a Red Bull. But I know Mrs. Ryan had dinner waiting for me right now, or last night, because she knows I'm not going to be home this week. So it's a total team effort from the home front right to the locker room.
Right. Awesome. And Matt asked a few personnel questions that I'll kind of piggyback off of, but we'll head to the other side of the ball. Liam Bogdan's been a guy that has been around for, years and years, has plenty of experience. How much do you feel like that you'll be able to rely on and kind of lean on him on that side of the ball as well?
Yeah, he's as sturdy as they come. Just a tough kid all around, smart, on and off the field. Like, his leadership is something that I depend on as a coach, and that's going to be the same way Sunday on the field. And we've gotten that type of leadership from Liam all season long. Also, I think it's really sort of helped a number of younger guys come along, whether it's Charlie Gleason, another low defenseman, or Stephen Morley, a long stick. He's the type of guy that is more than willing to help all those around him. In fact, he wants to. And his leadership it's not only taught me things, just watching how he operates on a day-to-day basis within the culture of the team, but obviously influencing his teammates in the weight room, in the classroom. I mean, he's a scratch student. He just spends a lot of times doing the right things correctly. And when you have that kind of kid in your, or that kind of young man in your locker room, that's going to influence others. So Sunday you're going to see in just about everything that we do, there's an influence from from Liam and from those seniors out there.
Gotcha. And then one more for you, if that's all right. So obviously not a ton of familiarity with this Lenoir-Rhyne team. Seen them just one time in the last few years. What do you know about them? What concerns you? And where do you think you'll, have some advantages on your side?
Well, I think they're a little bit of a cop. Like, I think the two teams, you get that meme with the two Spider-Mans looking at each other. Like, I seriously think that's what we're dealing with here. They like to get up and down the field. They got two Canadian attackmen and I think they're actually both from Calgary, the home of Miles and Ethan. I think the skill sets are very similar. I think both teams like to run up and down the field. This one does have the ability to turn into a little bit of a shootout. And I think as a coach, you got to be good with that. Like, this is not, I think this is going to be, I sort of look at this game as, molecules and hot water and boiling water just bouncing all over the place. I think both teams are going to want to get up and down the field and push the tempo. It could be a fun one for the fans. So come on out, everybody. But I think, steady on the defensive end. They have a great cover guy, and then they got a really good talented supporting cast. You got a goalie that makes saves. So again, I think the two teams are actually very, very similar in a lot of ways. Obviously we're counting on Sean to hopefully control the face-off X. And I think we just want to stick to who we are at this point. You're not going to change much going into the game. You're gonna go with what got you here. So I think it's a very interesting matchup.
All right, we got time for a couple more questions. We'll start with Dave, Ryan, and then we'll move on to Don.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'll give you plenty of love on NCAA.com this week for the last name.
Thank you very much. I'm sure Mrs. Ryan, I'm sure it's just another stunningly handsome Irish guy, just like Coach Corrigan.
David Patrick Ryan here. I get a lot of people say, "Hey, Ryan, nice to meet you." They assume Ryan's my first name, three first names.
I get that all the time. I get that all the time, and I've done my best. They say you can't trust a guy with two first names. I've done my best to be as trustworthy as I can my whole life.
I've got three.
I never thought about that like that. I guess we're in this deep.
Coach, looking forward to seeing you guys. 250 goal scorers is a pretty special thing to have. What makes these guys tick?
It's probably their familiarity with themselves. I mean, with each other. They knew each other well before they came here. I mean, I think we sort of ended up with Miles because of Ethan being here with it. So they share a friendship and a bond out there. And then they're just highly skilled Canadian lacrosse players. I mean, the stick work and I think even else when you're talking about the box guys, they just see things differently. I think they see things quicker. When you run around the box and someone wants to beat the heck out of you, it tend to make decisions a little bit quicker out there. It does sharpen you up a little bit, or else things are going to hurt. So I think when you have sort of that pre-existing relationship where they already know each other from the floor, and then you give them a little bit more space and you put them out on obviously on a collegiate outdoor lacrosse field, I think they can bring that skill set and that relationship and really work together well. And they've done that. So it's having 250 goal scorers is a special thing. And obviously you got to score goals to win lacrosse games. So we're happy to have those guys wearing green and white.
Number one stat to win this game other than the scoreboard would be in your mind?
Ooh, that's a good one. And I just got out of film. I should know this, but I
know a lot of film.
I haven't eaten breakfast, so I'm working on a delay right now.
Oh my gosh.
With it, I think turnovers are going to be a big thing. Mm-hmm. Both teams like to run not only turnovers, but where turnovers are committed. Do you turn the ball over outside your offensive box where now they get a running start on a shorter field? Does the goalie make a big save and get the outlet? Do you have to turn the ball over on, in unsettled situations, or can you turn the ball over? Can you be patient enough, and have great decision making, to eat that ball and turn it over in a settled situation at the end of a shot clock, instead of giving in to trying to make a play. So I think discipline is going to play a huge part in this, but I think, turnovers, you got to watch how they're going to influence the game. And then, I guess to build off that a little bit, you want to be strong, what we say up the spine at the face-off X and in the goal crease. So I think those are two of the areas that we're really concentrating on.
Thank you so much, Coach. Appreciate it. See you soon.
See you there.
Thank you, Coach, for joining us. That's all we have for you. Now you can go get some sleep, get some breakfast, and we will look forward to seeing you out in Philly.
All right. Thanks, guys. Everyone travel safe.
Yep. Thanks, Coach. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.